realized, well, no, I realized right after the stream I did another dumbass thing, and now I have to re-record 2 videos because I didn't record my voice because the mic wasn't on. See, this is when the mic is on. Okay, when the mic is on, it's picking up my voice. I did not realize, even though the mic was plugged into my laptop, that it wasn't going off. I am truly a dumbass. Oh my god. So now we're gonna have to reread those fragments. Not today. Not today. I'm rereading those on my own time. I'm reading those on my own time. Okay? I have to go through that hell myself. I love reading that, but I don't want to read again and again, especially when I was literally crying on stream yesterday, where you couldn't hear it because I was reading Takano's lines. Yeah. Yeah. So, let's continue. Alright. With this, do I have all the pieces lined up for 1983? It sure is hard and exhausting job since lining up the pieces for the month of June. But I'm finally at the start line, beginning from 0 at last. Yet seeing all these colorful fragments together, I realized just how many sentiments were intertwined around June 1983. I used to think that the thoughts of people with no relation to me were useless, but I was wrong. Frederica did her best to overcome the fate of June 1983. She did 2 things. Hold on, I have to do a couple things. One was to get in touch with the Erie Institute because she knew she would be protected there. Ironically, Takano from the Erie Institute was the one who wanted to kill her, but was the best move for her at the time. And the other was to ensure that the Maibara family moved to Hinamizawa. It actually wasn't certain that the Maibara family would move here. They first decided to move here when the father felt something sentimental at the sight of us on the day he came to view the properties for sale. Therefore, it was necessary for us to play in that field. It was the trigger for the Maibara family's move. It took me so long to find that out, though. After turning various conditions on and off repeatedly, I finally realized that meeting Keiichi's father at that field was the cause. Maibara Keiichi is very important, key for breaking Rule Z, one of the chains that was binding me. He's the fresh air that's powerful enough to break all the old and evil customs in this village. He created many opportunities, but he also provided me with an important clue by letting me know that a strong conviction and the will to believe is what's important in standing up against a powerful fate. But I wasn't the only one who wanted him here. People in the Sonozaki family who wanted to wipe out the nastier traditions of the village also wished for him. Sonozaki Mio vowed to herself to protect Sadako and Satoshi because she was very much bothered by how irrational the treatment of the Hojo family was. On the night Hojo Satoshi disappeared, she exploded at Sonozaki Oryo and voiced her true feelings. Sonozaki Oryo understood, or herself had come to understand, the wicked customs of the village and had been wanting to do something about it. But she didn't have the power to do so herself, so she entrusted it to the fresh air that was blowing in from the outside. That is why the lots went on sale so the Maibara family could move in. Even if I danced in that field, if Oreo hadn't put the lots on sale, Keiichi couldn't have come. And Rugu Rena, who provided many important opportunities for Maibara Keiichi, was saved by returning to Hinamizawa after the deep emotional trauma of her parents' divorce sent her into a terminal condition. Maibara Keiichi's wish to restart his life was the same wish Rugu Rena had a year prior. Maybe that's why Rena was able to understand Keiichi. It's like the miracle where one can recognize moments in a certain fragment from another fragment. If they can use the lessons learned from one fragment, then humans won't make those mistakes. The game pieces will make their best moves. The chances of winning this game of June 1983 will rapidly increase. In other words, Rugu Rena makes extremely important moves on this game board without realizing it. The mighty Rule Z that surrounded the Hojo siblings was eventually smashed by their actions. Of course, Sadako overcoming herself was also a big help. Their hands met only because they reached from both sides. Keiichi and Rena are the ones who taught me that. Mion is the one who made it possible for them to move here. She's also helped them to become familiar with the village. That's not all. Irie is also an important piece with significant functions of his own. Feeling empathy for Sadako, he's the most influential piece on the board we call Hinamizawa Syndrome. His existence is capable of defeating Rule X. Keiichi and Rena's determination and subsequent awakening taught us it was possible to fight against Rule X, but they didn't defeat it. Defeating Rule X requires the existence of Irie, who was a strong will to discover a cure for the syndrome. I didn't know Irie had this many thoughts within him. I always thought he was rather absent-minded, but he is in fact a rather important and powerful piece. So if we gather all this power, we can win against Takano's will. I've seen Takano's thoughts too. Sadly, her will is strong and can't be easily broken. It's no wonder our fate in June 1983 has been so hard to shake no matter how hard we fought. The sentiments have been turning toward it, pale in comparison to how many she's brought into it. The weight of our game pieces are different, because I've given up on fighting, while she's been risking her life to fight on. I spent life sulking and drinking wine to escape from reality. I must be a very light piece indeed. I can't win against Takano with what I have so far. I need more pieces to be able to win. The officer Oishi once showed the possibilities of becoming a strong ally, but he's under the misunderstanding that the Sonozaki family caused the death of his dear friend, so until that gets resolved, he won't be of any help. I don't know how I can solve that misunderstanding, but I just have to believe in it and keep throwing the die. Just like Keiichi and Rena constitute a chance to change fate, maybe Akasaka has the power to create a chance as well. The curse of 1983 is tied to the curse of Hinamizawa. A curse can't be broken by inner power alone. It takes power from outside as well. Both sides have to reach out, otherwise the hands won't meet, just like what happened with Sadako. But Akasaka has never come to our aid. Even if he did, it was always too late. Too late. Far too late. If I keep throwing the die, will Akasaka's game piece eventually appear? The final rule, Rule Y, involves the evil masterminds who are using Takano as their own game piece. To defeat them, I need a very strong opponent for her. The only one I can think of is none other than Akasaka from the police headquarters in Tokyo. There are more pieces who would lend me their power. I need to gather them all, otherwise I can't win against Takano. The preparation of the game board is complete, but I need more pieces. It's only the beginning. My theory is that because they always shared wishes and stuff, that it kind of accumulates into the miracle in that sense, because if you have a lot of people who think the same thing, I don't know, maybe it's stupid, I don't know. So anyway, a fragment of Himatsubushi. This piece is the only one that's so distorted. That's because it's from long before June 1983. Therefore, the existence of this piece has no effect whatsoever in the game we're playing on this board. But is this really a useless piece? The identity of Rule Y has been completely exposed by now. With the backing of a mighty organization, it is powerful enough to swallow up the small solidarity of individuals. I almost gave up on this game because of its irrational power. That's why I'm thinking that maybe there's a piece hidden somewhere that's strong enough to fight against such a formidable enemy. Mamoru Akasaka works at the police headquarters in Tokyo and might have the power to stand up to such a vast conspiracy. Can his power withstand even Rule Y? Just like Maibara Keiichi defeated Rule Z, will he be able to defeat Rule Y so easily? We need everyone's strength, so Akasaka's strength is needed as well. I messed up, I'm sorry. I messed up. I don't know why I said Straka. My mouth. whatever. Okay, give me a moment. The Onikakushi fragment. In order for Maibara Keiichi to become a game piece that can lead everyone, there's something that he has to learn about first. That piece is a very painful, pitiful, and sad. He has to learn about his friends, and he has to learn not to doubt them. He doesn't even know the importance of trusting his friends. He doesn't know just yet. A slight mistrust grows into paranoia, and Keiichi Maibara is trapped within Rule X. At the end of Rule X, Keiichi leaves a sad note and dies. While it may be very bitter and very painful, it also pulls him through the thought process of learning something very important. Hey Hanyu, you didn't have to apologize. In a few days he left Hinamizawa to attend his relative's funeral. Tragically, he experienced an outbreak, but I think this is necessary as his first step toward learning something important. The very first step toward smoking out Rule X and eventually defeating it. When this piece was all I had, I didn't even think of that though. This game piece has a very important meaning for us, because it shows for us the first time it is possible to poke a hole in the fate of June of 1983. To start from the conclusion, everything gets taken in by Rule Y at the end, and all our effort is wasted. While we're challenging the great law that governs this game board, Rule X head on, we're using everything we learned so far from the other fragments, which prove we can defeat it. We grow by learning. In a game with no hope of winning, we can discover a slight chance of victory. This piece taught us that. With this game piece, Rule X was almost completely defeated. Maibara Keiichi and our other friends won't be led astray by something as pathetic as the Hinamizawa syndrome and dance in tragedy any longer. It has also taught us that the rules aren't indestructible and are possible to overcome. In other words, it has given us, the ones who are on the outside of the game board, hope. It's an important fragment that serves as our turning point and the trigger for everything else. This game piece reminds us that no matter what happens on this game board, everything is due to the curse of the Sonozaki family pulling someone's strings. No, to put it in my words, this is the piece that makes everyone aware of the existence of Rule Z. It's hard to notice with just this piece, but this is a complicated fragment where Sonozaki Shion, while trapped in Rule X and mistaking it for Rule Y, is hurled about, comes to notice the existence of Rule Z. But this is also the piece that teaches us the rules of the game board. By the way, the piece called Sonozaki Shion is a piece coming from the outside from the game's point of view. She disliked Hojo Sadako at first, but through this and another piece, she learns something important, challenges Rule X, and grows to be a powerful piece to fight Rule Z. The most ridiculous part of this fragment is that it's hidden so cunningly, and doesn't seem that way at all with just a passing glance. Learn. Learn from your mistakes. Please become a powerful piece, and lend me your strength to defeat my enemies. I'm gonna make a separate save. This is the piece of Sonozaki Shion, who goes mad after being taken in by Rule X. With no room for sympathy, this is such a painful piece that one can only have pity. It distinctly identifies the keyhole of the padlock called Rule Z. Maibara Keiichi becomes the key himself to pry open this padlock. And as Sonozaki Mio wished for, he becomes a wind that clears out the stagnant air filling the village. This piece also teaches us an important lesson. Sonozaki Shion learns through this piece and then becomes a strong ally for Hojo Sadako. In that way, maybe Hojo Sadako is a piece that represents the padlock for Rule Z. Unless she is saved, Rule Z can be defeated. And when she's saved, that means Rule Z is defeated. This piece indicates only that. That's the only thing Sonozaki Shion learned by gambling her life. But now I think that it's very important. Every time I see Sadako and Shion argue about pumpkins, I think about that. This piece shows us the existence of the unreasonable Rule Z surrounding Sadako, and reveals the most powerful adversary rule on Game Board Rule Y. Can the rules X, Y, and Z be seen now? The enemy we need to fight, the things we need to learn, all are gathered and revealed here in this fragment. At this point, it's impossible to reach Rule Y. Fighting against Rule Z's effect on Sadako is the best that can be done. But in this piece, we make a mistake in our approach for fighting it. The outcome we gain through erroneous means is erroneous itself. Maibara Keiichi learned that through his own experiences. A tragedy doesn't possess the power to overcome tragedy. Violence doesn't possess the power to overcome violence. If they can grasp that, all the pieces on this game board will learn the true way to fight. But Takano is too powerful. The shocking end of this piece doesn't allow us to learn it that easily. My God. Shut the fuck up and hurry up and make your fucking run already, stupid fucking car. Or whatever the fuck was making that noise. Nothing makes me pissed off than hearing a vehicle driving through a street. It's just like, you don't need to be making that noise. It's nighttime. It's 9:15 p.m. Sorry about the cussing, but nothing pisses me off more. The game piece that uncovers the invisible Rule Y that has been pulling the strings from the beginning. Because the impression of that is so strong, it's easy to forget about something very important. We can't forget that this piece also shows the path toward destroying Rule Z. While Fururika laminated Rule Z is impossible to defeat, it was hardly a match for Maibara Keiichi and the others once they learned everything they needed to do. They knew the correct way to fight, and fought according to the rules of the game board. As a result, we win. That fact is more valuable than anything for us. Maibara Keiichi taught me a lesson. There's no need to subject ourselves to any fate. The will to believe can defeat anything. The fate I was always subjected to was created by Takano Mio's own conviction. So what he says is correct. To defeat her conviction, we need a stronger conviction of our own. A strong will can be pierced by only another strong will. We defeated rules X and Y, and then challenged the final rule Y, but we needed more pieces. Each piece fought at its best, but the strength of our enemies, led by Takano Mio, were just too powerful. She didn't even give us mercy. She squished us completely, and made us restart the game all over again. Although we lost, we didn't give up the resolve in our hearts, because we finally found the true culprit, and also found a clue for how to fight against her. We can't win with the pieces we have now. We don't have a powerful enough conviction or a strong enough will. But Hanyu and I will keep trying. We'll roll our die repeatedly, look for the greatest result, collect pieces, and try again, with a will stronger than Takano. Didn't you think of giving up several times before you got to this point? But you made it because you believed in me and followed me here. We're almost there. We can do it. Let's create the last piece. It will be the ultimate piece, and we won't need anything else. The very last piece of it all. Come on. Let's collect the pieces. Let's collect miracles. Please give your hopes and desires and dreams to me. After collecting miracles from all 7 fragments, I finally got a hold of this one. This fragment holds our final fate. But before we take a peek, please wait for just a little bit. The fate that's inside will be decided the moment we take a peek. Have I told you about the story of the cat in the box? Is it the cat in the box, alive or dead? If you open the box, you'll know, but you won't know until you open it. It could be alive, and it could be dead. In other words, before you open the box, the living cat and the dead cat simultaneously coexist. And the moment you open the box and find out the truth, the incorrect answer disappears. The inside of this fragment is the same principle. The future we desire and the future Takano desires simultaneously coexist. They are opposing and denying each other. Once we take a peek, one of those futures will disappear. If we have enough pieces, we can take a look inside this fragment. Damn it! Sorry. I had to fucking cough. I was trying to suppress it. Fuck, that pisses me off. Okay. But we only had the same pieces lined up the same way on the game board. And the game under the same condition was Takano's complete victory. We already tried that in the Minagoroshi fragment. We need more pieces. We need the help of a piece that's powerful enough to defeat Rule Y. Until I get a hold of that piece, it's too scary to take a peek inside this fragment. But how do I get such a piece? It's a piece I've never gotten a hold of before. To obtain it, I need to look. Just one more time. I need one more miracle to obtain that piece. Sorry I coughed. Ugh, I hate that when I cough. Leftover fragments. Do you need the final miracle? What is this? I'd never noticed this tiny little fragment. Sometimes a fragment gets cracked and it breaks, just like how the fate we believe in cracks sometimes. A damaged fate is no longer the same fate it was. Then which fate does this piece belong to? I picked up the tiny fragment and tried to match it with the fragments I have in my hand. And the last fragment I picked up was the Himatsubushi fragment. This fragment was the story from the beginning. And look. See. This tiny piece fits perfectly. With this tiny fragment, how will the world change? What kind of miracle will occur? The whole world warped. Since I put the broken piece back where it belonged, the distortion centered on the crack. That doesn't mean I can't take a peek inside. It's already past 1985. It's a time long after Furude Rika and her friends' stories tragically ended in June 1983. With some mild interference and an order crackled through their headsets. All units, the chief has left a message for you, so listen up! Good work, everyone! The local police have given us 15 minutes to wrap this up, but I'm only giving you few seconds. Don't let a single person escape. The main target is a diplomat. Don't let us suspect you're a cop. Just grab him. Okay, give me a moment. Make sure you leave no injuries. It'll lead to problems if you do. They're dirtbags who hide under diplomatic immunity to deal with the local gangsters. They launder money from the drug dealing force and force people into the sex trade to pay off high interest debts. According to the local embassy, some of the victims are younger than teenagers. Shitbags. Normally, this would be a simple case with the perpetrators being gangsters. But when the police found out a foreign diplomat was involved, things got much more complicated all of a sudden. Diplomats have diplomatic immunity, so the police can't arrest them. But they knew he was an important figure in the whole scheme. There was no doubt that he was the middleman between the foreign criminal organization and the Japanese gangsters. They couldn't let him escape. It'd be easy to deport him, but it wouldn't solve anything. The police had to ask the embassy for assistance, but they denied the request, as the case was put on standstill at that point. That's when they found out the organization was going to be selling the Self-Defense Forces classified radar and missile technology secrets. The Public Safety Division then had to move on the premise to protect this classified government information. Today was the day the operation was set to go. 2 men at the front stairs, 2 men at the underground entrance, 4 men at the back door. All suspects are believed to be armed. 2 more than usual, huh? It'll only take 2 seconds for him. He never shows anyone mercy. Can you hear, Akasaka? You're on point. Be careful. Okay, let's move. This is Akasaka. I copy. Let's go. Sorry, I'm not a guy, so they're gonna get not very guyish voices. A man suddenly appeared around the corner downtown. It was Akasaka. He displayed none of the naivete that he did when he first met Rika. When he got to the entrance of the underground club, a bouncer with a heavy foreign accent stopped him. This place, members only. Do you have membership card? I'm not putting on an accent, sorry. Akasaka pulled out a card after being asked. It was a card that was very difficult to forge, so they could only get one. As a man on point, he was the one to receive it. The bouncer let Akasaka in after confirming he had a membership card. Akasaka passed the bouncer at the entrance. He's going down the stairs. Come on, Akasaka! At the bottom of the staircase, there's an overly decorated door like the ones you see at a high-class club. The venomous glow of the cocktail lights lit up, silently warning everyone it was the entrance to the den of evil. Welcome. May I see your membership card? The guard at the entrance took the membership card and put it through the card reader on the wall. An error sound. Slight perspiration could be seen on Akasaka's forehead. The guard swiped the card a couple of times more. Akasaka's having a problem. Did they change the system? If Akasaka's encountering trouble, we'll change plans. Secure safety pronto. The expression of the guard with him steadily grew dour. His right hand reached inside of his jacket, probably fingering his gun. The buzzer suddenly rang with a delightful tone, and the card reader flashed a green light. Immediately after that, the lock on the door opened up. Thank you for waiting. Please head on inside. The guard pulled his hand out of his jacket and opened up the heavy door. Loud music and flashing colorful lights spilled out from the inside. From within that, a well-dressed guard appeared to welcome Akasaka. At this moment, his first mission was accomplished. Having acted as the go signal for the remaining units, Akasaka was also in a dangerous position of being in enemy territory all by himself. The door was the biggest obstacle for their ambush. The door locked automatically, so whenever it was closed, it also sealed that way. It was a solid door, nearly impossible to open from the outside. Someone had to not only open the door, but keep it open for several seconds in order for the raid to begin. Akasaka was the only one who could do that. This is Akasaka. Entrance secured. Go, go, go! The complex on the other side of the club was getting a new tenant. There were 2 trucks parked in front of the building, but of course that was just a disguise. The door to one of the trucks opened and several dozen plainclothes investigators jumped out. The same thing was happening in the back door too. The ground level guards noticed this and began to draw their guns, but were taken down immediately by nearby investigators who had been pretending to be innocent bystanders. Several dozen investigators quietly went down the underground stairs. These narrow underground stairs were another obstacle to their operation. Everything would end on the security camera. Their raid would become known within a few seconds. For that matter, a push on the security button would make it impossible for the lock to be opened from the outside. That's why they had to secure the door before the ambush. The guards on both sides of Akasaka noticed the loud footsteps coming down the stairs. The well-dressed guards also realized that something was wrong. The 3 guards shifted their attention from Akasaka to the stairs behind him. And as he sensed that attention shift, Akasaka took a quick, deep breath and stopped breathing entirely. The 2 guards standing beside him suddenly rose into the air in strange positions. Akasaka had determined his position relative to the 2 guards next to him, so he didn't need to check with his eyes. But even so, His fists had been driven into their faces with such precise accuracy. His moves were well-trained ones and showed no mercy against evil, and they were destructive as armor-piercing ammunition. And furthermore, Akasaka has retracted his arms at the same speed that he struck. Everything looked so strange in the flashing lights. The man who witnessed all of this probably couldn't figure out what had just happened. The two guards were up in the air in strange positions, and the man who had been standing in front of him was now crouching low, and that frozen moment shattered. The well-dressed guard was smashed into the ceiling and shortly afterward came crashing down onto the floor. Later on, after slurping liquid food, he would desperately try to remember was it a fist or a leg that broke his jaw. He'd probably never quite recall it. Rather luckily, the way that his body fell blocked to the floor, so the Akasaka didn't have to open any line. Oh, the door. This is Akasaka. I'm going in. Wait for your backup. Akasaka! The room was filled with loud music, but everyone had already noticed that brouhaha had this entrance. Everyone get down! As soon as Akasaka belled his warning, screams filled the club. Most people immediately hit the floor after trying to proclaim their innocence. But all the guards reacted quickly to Akasaka. In the midst of all this, there were a few people trying to make their escape to the back along with several guards. Akasaka restarted his breathing one again and stopped it again, and then ran after them like a wolf. He jumped up to the table, smashing expensive bottles of alcohol, shattering glass with ice cubes, making from icebergs of the Arctic. A foreign bodyguard whose previous profession must have been a professional boxer thoughtlessly stood in front of Akasaka. With a heavy accent, he tried to taunt his opponent, but Akasaka couldn't have cared less about that. The only display that man was able to put on him was that he was able to block Akasaka's attack. But it wasn't even an effective guard. The power of Akasaka's punches were so incredible they simply broke the man's bones in his attempt to block them. The man's arm warped in a strange way, and the moment after the agony showed on his face, Akasaka's left arm ground into it. Akasaka, you see, is right-handed. That means a man should consider himself grateful that he was able to get away with just a mere orbital fracture. Thinking that this was his chance, another man attempted to tackle Akasaka from behind. He assumed that no matter how strong a man was, he'd go down quickly when attacked from behind. He also assumed that Akasaka was concentrating in front of him. He wouldn't be expecting an attack from behind to begin with. But that would only be true if Akasaka was just concentrating on his front. Indeed, the attacker was very wrong, for Akasaka was no longer even thinking about the man before him. Akasaka knew exactly when and what was about to happen. The experience he's built up to this day taught him that. His body more than his mind remembered the time from when the menaces of society like these would make their move from behind him. Akasaka's attack continued fluidly from the left arm punch that he struck against the ex-boxer. His left arm retracted. At the same time, he arced his left leg around beautifully as it crashed into the man approaching him from behind. A dull sound signified that his nose had been broken. But Akasaka already knew that. Akasaka continued his motion and directed a decisive right blow to the side of his assailant's head. The man slammed into the wall and bounced off of it, rolling on the floor. Akasaka took another breath. Under the glare of the dazzling club lights, the guards realized they were up against a demon. Yes, they realized there was no way to take him down. The guards are being paid to deal with humans. Fighting demons just wasn't in their job description. At that moment, backup finally arrived. Maybe finally isn't a suitable word. Everything that happened did over a matter of seconds. The time it took for Akasaka to take down those 5 guards was a span of nearly 2 breaths. Put your hands above your head and get down on the floor. If you resist, we'll open fire. Thanks to Akasaka's furious action, the flow of events is already set. Akasaka's intimidating first strike shattered the gang's leader's will to run. They were all down on the floor, but one of them began smiling. You shouldn't touch me. It'll lead to international incident. Akasaka grabbed him by the collar and threw him against a concrete wall. Aren't you a policeman? I have diplomatic immunity! I'm a diplomat! Good for you. So how much did you get paid, huh? This will be an international incident. I'll be calling them... Ah! With a dragon-like roar, Akasaka's right fist pounded the wall right next to the diplomat's head. Immediately after that, his left fist pounded the wall on the other side of the head, and soon enough, Akasaka had pounded the wall 7 times, each just a sliver away from the diplomat. His fists were easily powerful enough to crush the man's head. The diplomat crumpled to the floor. This is Akasaka. Target secured. Oh! Further investigations discovered a secret gateway route that even the public safety didn't know about. Dozens of Soviet military-grade machine guns were found, and if Akasaka hadn't stopped them in the club, they would have escaped, or even worse, the operation might have ended with a brutal death toll on both sides. All thanks to how well Akasaka executed his duty, the operation was completed without a single shot fired. Come on, hurry! The local police will be here soon. Put them on the truck. Since a foreign diplomat was involved, they had to make sure it didn't look as though the whole operation was carried out by the police. Instead, they made it look like a simple gang war. They would dump the useless gang members and hand over the target to the police. Of course, before handing him over, they made sure he spilled everything he knew. That diplomatic pig could be used as a negotiation device by another part of public safety. They found plenty of evidence that said the pig was tied to an underground criminal organization. Not wanting a persona non grata on their hands, the embassy would likely cut all ties with him. The rest would be the business of the other departments. Public safety's job was to take care of things regular police couldn't deal with. Akasaka, are you okay? Come in, Akasaka! This is Akasaka. We're on our way. You've done it again! Report to the chief to get reamed out later. Akasaka, you sure are a demon. 5 men within mere seconds! This isn't even karate anymore. Your fists should be categorized as lethal weapons. It sure was lucky that none of them drew their guns, though. Knowing how brutal Akasaka is, he would have turned them into honeycombs. Shut up. Don't make me sound like an assassin. I show no mercy against evil, that's all. The pigs he had just caught were no average criminals. They committed so many unforgivable sins. The strength behind Akasaka's fists were proportional to those sins. The heavier their sins, the more powerful his blows would be. Come on, round them up! Akasaka, make them hurry! The local police will get here quickly. This is Akasaka, understood. Did you guys hear? Hurry up. Roger! Oh, command, we have 5 injured here. Please have the meds ready. There wasn't any trace left of Akasaka's old naivete. He had grown to be vigilant ace of his department. Woo! Yes! Oh my god, that was so fun to read! I knew it was coming! Oh my god, when Akasaka gets into action mode, it gets way more exciting. You can tell I had such a good time. See, I told you, once we get past most of the boring fragments, it gets fun. It was just a lull. Anyway. Okay. Akasaka was training inside a dark dojo filled with the smell of sweat and mold. The dojo was located in the middle of downtown in a small building. It wasn't that big, and they weren't that well equipped either. It certainly didn't look like a dojo where a person as skilled as Akasaka would train. There were only 3 or 4 students there, including Akasaka. But this is the dojo he picked. To Akasaka, karate was certainly a weapon for crushing his enemies, but now he was seeking something further from it. To achieve his goal, a dojo with many young students having actual physical lessons wouldn't work. He'd gone to so many different dojos, and this was the one he finally settled on. Every time Akasaka punched a sandbag, the heavy thud of his punch, the clang of the sandbag's chain would echo. He wasn't just punching blindly. He thought first, to develop those thoughts, and then it was more of a deep and low vibration than a proper sound. Drops of sweat scattered, the dust welled up in the air. It was a perfect blow embodying the concept of 1 strike, 1 kill. But he wasn't satisfied. He closed his eyes, controlled his breathing as if trying to hear the cry of the cicadas, and he punched again. From a beginner's perspective, it looked like he was taking breaks between each. The other students training on their own would glance over and sense a fearsome respect at his focused blows. I heard Akasaka works at the police department. Really? If someone like him is a police officer, I don't want to do anything bad. Still, his concentration sure is amazing. He never gets tired. On his days off, Akasaka came to the dojo in the early morning, and he silently trained all day. His training was no longer physical, but mental. The other students were already aware his continuous concentration was a secret of his strength. However, that was easier said than done. As long as a person lives, they are bound by countless ties and idle thoughts. For a person to submit all his will into such a singular focus is more than like trying to attain enlightenment than something in the realm of martial arts. Man has tried many different methods to achieve such enlightenment. And what we learn is that there is no one way to reach it. And a path one takes can reach it if mastered. Karate is what Akasaka chose. The rumors say that his wife is dead. Supposedly he does karate to forget about that. Really? That's different from what I heard. I heard he couldn't save a girl on the job and leading him to realize his weaknesses or something like that. Hey, I can hear you. Quit talking about other people and train. Yes, sir! There was a small beeping noise. Someone's watch was letting them know it was noon. Akasaka, we're gonna get some lunch. Can we get you something too? Sure. I don't care what you get. Thanks. Akasaka was more pleased to be alone in the dojo than have anyone bring him lunch. When they left, silence filled the building. Shit. My focus dissipated because they were talking about me. But if it happened because of a bit of small talk, that meant he had much more training to do. He had to train so much harder if he wanted to achieve enlightenment. He focused again and started to punch the sandbag. The sound was a lot lighter than before. Obviously, the strength of his fists was no longer there. Realizing he needed to take a break, Akasaka pulled out a towel from his bag and sat down. The sound of cicadas soaked into his body. The windows were open, but there was no breeze coming in. Still, he could feel the cool air, if just a little. Just as they said, the reason Akasaka started karate was because of Yukie's death. Of course, losing against a suspect in that kidnapping incident was one reason too, but more than that, the pain from Yukie's death was what made him start. Yukie fell down the stairs of the hospital and died while he was on a business trip in Shishibone. He couldn't get rid of that depression, so he started to learn karate. But in June 1983, when the Great Hinamizawa disaster occurred, he realized something very important. A girl had predicted Yukie's death, and in return, she wanted him to help her. Yukie's death was an accident. He could have told himself there was nothing he could have done. But as for the girl, Furude Rika's death was different. She knew about her own death 5 years prior. When the disaster occurred, he remembered Oishi and called him to make sure he was okay. Then found out about everything. When he was caught up, he fell into despair. Furude Rika was at the turning point in his life. He could not believe what she predicted and did something about it. Maybe Yukie wouldn't have had to fall down the stairs. He took the earth to serve the public as a police officer, yet he didn't even notice the plea for help from a little girl. He shoved aside a conspiracy surrounding her until it was too late. He had 5 years to do something about it. But he didn't do anything, and she died. Visiting Hinamizawa for the kidnapping case of the minister's grandson was definitely the turning point in his life. If only he had listened to what that girl said, Yukie would have never died. He could have been there to help Furude Rika. Those two things continued to haunt him. The investigation into the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa that he'd heard about from Oishi was put on indefinite hiatus because of the disaster. But it was apparent to both of them that there was some conspiracy behind it all. To challenge such things, he needed all the strength and experience he could muster. He was devoting himself to gain such strength. But it was too late. Everything had already ended. While he was stuck in his dilemma, the dojo instructor admonished him. There's nothing one can do about what's already done. So in that case, the only thing he can do is train diligently, so if the same thing is to happen again, he'll be able to save a person in need. It's all too late. Everything is already over. Yukie died in the accident. Hinamizawa was destroyed in the gas disaster. Rika was murdered as her intestines were ripped out of her while she was alive. Shit! I was too obsessed with Yukie's death and I couldn't hear that girl's pleas for help. No, if I'd listened to her, I could have prevented Yukie's accident too. Damn it! Damn it! Shit! As Akasaka clutched his hair and looked up, he noticed a small shrine overhead that protected the dojo. Akasaka respected both Shinto and Buddhism, but he never thought of praying to gods in those times of despair. But for the first time, he felt like praying for help. If it was something he was capable of doing himself, he would have never even considered praying. But as it was something he couldn't resolve on his own, he prayed. It was a very selfish wish. If his wish were to come true, everyone in the whole world would wish for the same thing. Please, please give me another chance to go back to that time. I swear that this time, I will save both of them. At that moment, Akasaka's body suddenly felt very light. No, it was more like he was losing balance, as if he was fainting. Perhaps it was because he shouted so loudly after training, his brain was lacking in oxygen. But he couldn't take the eyes off the shrine. Thank you, Akasaka. We needed your thoughts. Was this a hallucination? Akasaka felt like a stranger was talking to him. We must wish for a miracle, and you must wish for a miracle too. Otherwise, a miracle will never occur. Unless everyone wishes for a miracle, it won't occur. Unless both sides reach out, their hands won't meet in the middle. He didn't know what she was trying to say, but somehow he felt like he couldn't miss a single word of it. He felt like it was something very, very important. Akasaka, if you wish for it, I'll grant you this miracle. And it'll be a miracle for us too. Joining these broken fragments will give us a chance to create an even greater fragment. Your resolve on its own may greatly influence everyone's fates and intentions. Can you turn back time to that day? No, I can't do that. The only thing I can do is let you notice. To let you notice that things you can't learn from one fragment, you can learn from others. So all you have to do is return this broken fragment to where it belongs. That's a big miracle itself, although you probably won't even notice it. Thank you, Akasaka. Thank you for remembering me. I don't even know how much time I've spent asking you for help, but finally, it reached you. So I'll say it one more time. Please help me. No, please help us. Like, see, this is what makes me think, yeah, it's everybody wishing for the same thing. To win against Takano, in that sense. That I think really tips the scales in their favor. A fragment of MatsuriBayashi. It was long. It really was long. Are you okay? Is your spirit still alive? Do we have all the pieces we want lined up on the game board? Is this everything that we can to go up against Takano and her minions in the game of fate in June of 1983? I think, maybe, we have everything. And last but not least, Hanyu, it's you. The time you have left to be the piece is limited. But that doesn't mean you can't show up in the game. Shall we begin? I've put in hundreds of years just for this moment. Someone once suggested that believing is like placing a bet with coins of hope. In other words, believing means taking a risk. You gain something if you win, but you lose something if you fail. As with any gamble, we try to make sure we win and then bet a coin. But as with any gamble, there's no guarantee of victory. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, and that's how you increase the number of coins you have. But if you keep losing, you don't want to continue gambling. It's then that you realize that if you don't gamble, you don't have to lose anything. Not gambling on anything is the same as not believing in anything. Not believing in anything is the same as not involving yourself in anything. And not involving yourself in anything is the same as not existing. Therefore, she didn't exist. The one coin she had in her heart was the last one. If she lost it, she'd disappear. That was why she was hesitating to make a bet. She'd been running, trying not to get involved in any type of match, because she was afraid of betting it by accident. But just like in any game of poker, she could lose her coin by folding. She tried not to lose her last coin, but that meant she was going to lose it eventually anyway. There was something she didn't know. Actually, I didn't know it at the time either. The more coins bet into the pool, the higher our chances of winning this game. In other words, the more frightened we are, the more that we keep losing the game before us. It's just like carrying a portable shrine. It's impossible to carry such a heavy thing by oneself, but when people put their strength together, they can lift it easily. There's a clear borderline between too heavy to lift and easily lifted. It's just like the balance on the tail skips with just a little weight. The big heavy shrine before us couldn't be lifted. Everyone tried their hardest to raise it, but couldn't. I didn't help because I was sure it couldn't budge. I don't participate in games I know I can't win, so I didn't bet my coin, but that was wrong of me. Maybe the portable shrine could have been lifted if I joined. For the longest time, I've been pretending to be a bystander. I always thought I was just there to find it out if my coin was worth betting or not. But that was wrong. I'm not just an onlooker, nor should I be a bystander. I should have participated. You know, I just realized I messed up, and I should have been reading this as Hanyu. So, I might have to reread this part too. Damn it. Wait, hold on. Maybe we can reload it. Yeah, maybe we can do that. I don't know. Because I've been saving constantly. It's because it's because I'm afraid of... Alright. Hold on. We can reread it like this. Okay. Alright, let's try this.
Someone once suggested that believing is like placing a bet with coins of hope. In other words, believing means taking a risk. You gain something if you win, but you lose something if you fail. As with any gamble, we try to make sure we win and then bet a coin. But as with any gamble, there's no guarantee of victory. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. And that's how you increase the number of coins you have. But if you keep losing, you don't want to continue gambling. It's then you realize that if you don't gamble, you don't have to lose anything. Not gambling on anything is the same as not believing in anything. Not believing in anything is the same as not involving yourself in anything. And not involving yourself in anything is the same as not existing. Therefore, she didn't exist. The one coin she had in her heart was the last one. If she lost it, she disappeared. That's why she was hesitating to make a bet. She'd been running trying not to get involved in any type of match, because she was afraid of betting it by accident. But just like in a game of poker, she could lose her coin by folding. She tried not to lose her last coin, but that meant she was going to lose it eventually anyway. There was something that she didn't know. Actually, I didn't know at the time either. The more coins bet into the pool, the higher our chances of winning this game. In other words, the more frightened we are, the more we'll keep losing the game before us. It's just like carrying a portable shrine. It's impossible to carry such a heavy thing by oneself, but when everyone puts their strength together, they can lift it easily. There's a clear borderline between too heavy to lift and easily lifted. It's just like how the balance on the scale tips with just a little weight. The big heavy shrine before us couldn't be lifted. Everyone tried their hardest to raise it but couldn't. I didn't help because I was sure it couldn't budge. I don't participate in games I know I can't win, so I didn't bet my coin. But that was wrong of me. Maybe the portable shrine could have been lifted if I joined. For the longest time, I've been pretending to be a bystander. I always thought I was there to just find out if my coin was worth betting or not. But that was wrong. I'm not just an onlooker, nor should I be a bystander. I should have participated. The game I've been facing doesn't look like a game I can win. It doesn't look like a game that's worth betting on. But by betting on it, or by participating in it, or by believing in it, the outcome might change. To gamble on something is the same as to believe in something. To believe in something is the same as to be involved in something. To be involved in something is the same as to exist. Therefore, she existed.
I personally think it's supposed to be Hanyu's line because Hanyu is the one that doesn't exist. That's how I interpret it. You can see it as Rika or Hanyu. I don't know. I hope I'm right. I could be wrong. Okay. Okay, everyone. Homeroom is starting. No more chit-chatting. Class rep, go ahead. All rise. Bow. Good morning. Sit down. It's another ordinary morning. The only difference is that I'll start a little later than usual. She normally arrives in the classroom right away, but she's a little late today. Why would she leave her homeroom? The rumors are already stirring about the classroom before she arrived. She gave a cue, oops, I don't know what's going on with my mouth today. She gave a cue, and a girl peeked in the room timidly.
Hello.
This is a new student, Furude Hanyu. She's going to be joining us starting today. Wow! The voices of welcome, delight, and surprise all mixed together filled the classroom.
Furude, is she related to Rika? Yes, she is. She's my distant relative. My, that's quite a surprise even to me. I was uninformed that Rika had relatives.
Hey, this old man didn't know either. Well, the three families are rather complicated. I wouldn't be surprised if I had distant relatives myself.
But she sure does look related to Rika. Hello, what a cutie! Hello.
All my classmates had gotten excited. The new girl looked rather intimidated by it all. Rika's rather carefree, but this Hanyu seems like the complete opposite. She's more like a shy woodland animal. The exact type that Rena loves. Look, see? Rena's ready to swallow her whole.
Okay, Hanyu, please introduce yourself. Settle down, everyone. Go ahead, Hanyu.
Chie left the podium and encouraged Hanyu to take over. The even greater pressure of the silence left her standing there timidly for a little bit. Well, that's understandable. It's very nerve-wracking to watch, though.
I'm Fruity Hanyu. I'm Rika's relative. Me. She's my relative. Please be nice to her.
Rika can tell that she's too nervous to introduce herself. She's right to break the silence. Pressuring you like this isn't fair, which is why I decided to make it more lively.
You're called Fruity just like Rika, huh? Now we have 2 Fruities in this class. Then how about we call her Hanyu? If we call her Fruity, Rika might think we were addressing her, don't you think?
We generally call each other by our first names here. She's the one of us starting today, so we should call her by her first name too. Okay, it's decided. We'll call you Hanyu. I'm Sonozaki Mion, the class president. Call me Mion, okay?
I'm Hojo Sadako. Pleased to meet you, Hanyu. I'm Daiki Tomita. My parents run a tofu shop. Please come by anytime. I'm Suguru Okumura. Please ask me if you don't know anything. Hello, let's be friends, okay? What grade are you in?
Our classmates fell over to introduce themselves. Everyone tried to get her to remember their names so they could be friends. A friendly atmosphere swelled in the room. Only just transferred here recently myself, but this is exactly how I was on my first day too. I remember how nervous I was and how much I appreciated this as a result. I know more than anyone how nerve-wracking it is to be a new student. I should look after her.
I agree. We have to help her blend into the class quickly.
Right. You were a new student last year, huh? Were you nervous on your first day too?
Yep, but Michan and the others were so nice to me that I got used to the class pretty quickly.
Well, yeah, to welcome a newcomer to the village is one of the 3 families' important duties. You only mention the 3 families when it suits your purposes. But it's true that you all helped me get used to such a different environment. In that case, doesn't that mean it's your turn to look after her, Kei-chan? Yeah, I thought so too. Rena was a new student, but she looked after me when I got here. It's my turn to look after the new student. A new student always dramatically changes the atmosphere of a class. Even my attitudes change. We decided to gather around Hanyu during lunch break. Okay, remember, you can only ask Hanyu 1 question each, okay? Why don't we ask her some personal questions to get her to know her better? Let's see, who'll be the first to go? You're up, Okamura!
What's your favorite food? Oh, I like sweets. My favorite kind are ice cream puffs. Oh, that's wonderful. I love cream puffs too. They're very good sweet shops in Okinomiya. I'll take you there sometime.
Okay, boys, did you hear all that? If you want Hanyu to like you, get her some cream puffs, okay? Not the cheap ones, though. Get her something expensive. Let's see who's next. If there's no one else, I'll ask her what her color underwear is today. Everyone kept asking Hanyu questions, and she looked all panicky again. I guess this is like a traditional ceremony for the new student. I remember this is exactly how my first day went. Mion and Sadako seemed amused, so it must be the same for them too. I noticed Rena watching the scene before her with a distant look in her eyes. She's probably remembering her first day too. Are you recalling what it was like?
Yeah.
Were you thinking about something else? You aren't thinking about taking Hanyu home, are you?
No way! I'm not thinking that since Hanyu likes cream puffs, and since I have some good cream puffs at home, that she should come over or anything like that. I'm taking her home with me!
If she doesn't go to school tomorrow, it'll be your fault, Rena.
Oh, that's mean.
As we watch Hanyu, our classmates have fun, and Rena and I laugh together.
Hey, Keiichi. This sure is great, huh?
Yeah, it is. It's great to meet a new classmate.
No, not that. I mean, I think I've seen her a few times before.
Hanyu? Maybe you saw her when she and her family came to look at the area before they moved here? You sure have a good memory, Rena.
No, it's not like that. Hanyu has been here for a long time. She's been right beside us all the while, watching us play together. For ages now. Huh? Is it just me? Didn't you notice, Keiichi?
No, I haven't seen her before. So are you saying that you met her before, Rena? From what I see, this is the first time you and Sadako have met Hanyu. If she's been that close to us, like Rena said, it's impossible that none of us would remember her. Are you sure? Besides, Hanyu's a transfer student. She couldn't have been here in this village that often.
Do you think so? I swear I've seen her pretty often.
It's your imagination. Even Hanyu just said she was living far away before she moved here.
But I've seen her before.
Rena looked like she was trying to remember more. It's probably one of those deja vu experiences. Although it's the first time you see something, it feels like you've done it before. Oh, well, just forget about it. She's here now, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. She always seems so eager to join us, so I'm glad that she's one of us now.
Rena smiled with tears in her eyes. When I looked over at her, Rika was wearing the same expression. It made no sense to me why those two looked that way. But as soon as Sadako came over and pulled a prank on me, I forgot all about it. See you later! Those are the words that signal the best time of the school day. As soon as the last period ended, my classmates ran out of the room. Hanyu was popular all day today. She's Rika's age, so all the lower grade students gathered around her. Older students like me and Mew didn't have a chance to get close to her. Well, I'm sure they'd rather have a new guy who's there, a new student who's there, as a scary-looking older guy.
That's right, you looked so scary at first, Keiichi. It was probably because you were nervous.
Hey, that's mean! I was trying to be friendly so I could get along with the class!
You are far from friendly. You slapped me upside the head the first day, Keiichi. Don't you recall?
That's because of how I was treated on my very first day. There was a thumbtack on the seat of my chair and even a frog on my desk.
We heard there was a new student in the teacher's office, so we went to take a peek. We saw you there and you looked so nervous that Sadako must have thought she had to do something to help you relax. As your elder, I was being considerate, you see.
That's impossible! Although that blackboard eraser sure did help ease my tension. But Sadako will be so pleased with herself if I tell her that, so I'll never admit it. Hanyu must have gone home with everybody else. I'm sure she's still popular even after school. Still, so your first day at new school is always really exhausting. I'm sure she'll sleep very well tonight.
I'm quite sure, too.
Okay, everyone, it's been a while since I've been busy with work quite a bit lately. It's time for a club meeting!
I've been waiting for this. It's been so long I've gotten rusty. Me, I've been bored because I haven't rubbed a loser's head in a while. I won't lose! I won't be holding back just because it's been a while!
You sure have pent up frustrations, huh? Great. That makes this even more interesting. Everybody's motivated, huh? You better watch out. I'm in top form today. Mion, you're gonna wish you went to work instead. Mion had had to work quite a bit lately because her uncle's shop is short in staff, so we haven't done any club activities for a long while. For us, the club activities are the main reason we come to school. In a way, we live for these few hours after school. If there's no club activities, there's no point in coming here at all. So it only makes sense for us to be excited about having a meeting again. I guess none of us will be satisfied with an ordinary game. What should we play? Mia looked into the club locker. I'm always curious about what's in the locker and how much of it there is. I swear there's more than it can actually realistically hold. Just then we heard the door open.
Oh, Hanyu? Hello? What are you doing here? Did you forget something?
I thought she'd already gone home. Did she forget her lunchbox or something? It's not a big deal to forget a textbook, but you can't forget a lunchbox. Hanyu, what is it? Are you looking for something? Hanyu looked at us apologetically. What is it? Are we in the way? She kept staring at us timidly. Are we sitting in Hanyu's seat? No, that's not it.
What is it, Hanyu? Can we help you? Can't we?
Rena talked to her, but there was no communication to be had. Almost like trying to have a conversation with a stray cat. What is this? Hanyu was fixated on something. I followed her gaze and found Rika. Hanyu's apologetic gaze was directed at Rika.
Me. I won't say anything. If you want, you need to say it yourself, Hanyu.
With that, I finally figured it out. Hanyu wanted to say something, but she didn't know how to say it, so she wanted Rika to say it for her. But Rika told her to say it herself. In other words, we need to listen to what Hanyu has to say. We patiently waited for Hanyu to speak up. But when I think about what happened this morning, I realize this kind of silence makes her even more nervous. Rena, noticing that, talked to her in a sweet tone of voice.
What is it, Hanyu? Can you tell me? I'll help you. What is it? Can you say it one more time?
Rena raised her voice. What? Let this old man know too. What is it?
Are you sure?
What could it be?
Please share it with us all. Well, I want to join your club.
Ah! Hanyu said it loudly as if to shake off her embarrassment. Now that's a surprise. Where did you hear about us?
I want to join. I want to join your club. Very good. You did a great job. Clap, clap, clap.
Oh my god. Rika must have known that Hanyu wanted to join the club all along. Mio folded her arms with a smile and stared at Hanyu as if appraising her. Needless to say, Hanyu was intimidated. You're awfully reckless jumping into moral peril by choice, but our club isn't just any old club. Only a select few are allowed to join, and that's only after passing a gruesome trial. Just because you want to join doesn't mean you can, you know.
Look, Hanyu, Mi-chan's club might look like fun, but, it's not easy. I already know that. You have to win, otherwise you don't know what might happen. Are you sure you're aware of that? I won't lose. Besides,
Hanyu swallowed once and said what was on her mind. It sounded like a big thing to say for her, as though it had much deeper meaning.
I used to hate to lose, so I always ran away from every game. But running away is even worse than losing. I can win only if I continue to fight despite the pain of failure. That's something I've learned.
Hanyu. When Mio realized that, although she looks timid, Hanyu's actually very courageous. She grinned. It looks like she's grown fond of her. Well, she's got guts. How about Mio? Why don't we let her try, huh? Let's take her into the entrance exam. It usually takes more than a few weeks to determine if one is even qualified to take the exam, yet she wants to take it on her first day? What should I do? Mio pretended to be stubborn, but in reality, she was simply playing with her. If she actually didn't want her to join, she would have refused her right away. Of course, if Hanyu was bothered by this kind of intimidation, she wouldn't be able to survive in this club. Just like Rena and Sadako said, our club is relentless. Winning should be your utmost goal. Always aim for first place, and if you come in last, you'll wish you were never born.
I'll do my best. The punishment for losing is actually kind of fun too.
Hanyu, you've been watching the whole time, huh? You've been wanting to join for the longest time, huh? I got the feeling that Rena had just mumbled something like that. Come on, Mia, let her try. I got in by going through that too, you know.
Quite true. Let's see what Hanyu's made of. Have fun, Hanyu. I won't hold back, okay? I won't hold back either. I'll only give you my best, Hanyu.
entrance exam. Okay then. We'll have to choose a game that Hanyu knows how to play. Might be good. Oh! What about this? Mio threw a deck of cards onto the desk. Does this mean we'll play a game that everyone knows? How about Old Maid?
That's fine.
Here she goes. This is exactly what I had to endure when I went through this entrance exam. This is the marked tile deck.
That's very enthusiastic. However, our club's version of Old Maid is a little different, no?
Most of the cards have scratches on the back, so by memorizing the scratches, you can tell what card it is. In other words, the more you've played this game, the better you are at. This is simply our way of being mean to newcomers.
Hanyu, you can do it. This is a trial. You can do it, yeah.
It sure brings back memories. I had to go through this too. It just happened recently, but I feel so nostalgic. However, that doesn't mean I'll go easy on you. Just like how merciless they all were when I did the exam. I'll put everything I got into this. Right, everyone?
Prepare for yourself, Hanyu.
Here we go. If you want to join, let's see what you've got.
Roger!
I'll call your hand from right, okay? Ace, 3, 4, 7, Jack, and Queen.
It's too late to hide now. Sorry, Hanyu. This is the Ace of Spades, right? I'm out.
Do you get it, Hanyu? This is the entrance exam for our club.
Keiji is putting his leftover grudge from his own entrance exam into this game.
Come on, Kei-chan. Are you sure you should be saying things like that? Hanyu, take Kei-chan's card on the right. That's what you need to win.
I'm done.
What? That's not fair! Okay, I'm dead serious now. How dare you make me mad? Hanyu, do you want to go home and at least wear your shorts with a tail on them on your first day?
My, I think you would look better than them, Keiji. Oh, yes, I'm gonna take him home with me. I'll make him do that punishment.
That's a great idea. I'm in too. Hey, you guys, why are you picking on me, huh? Fine then. I'm gonna make all of you do it.
And they ended up picking on Keiji anyway.
Oh, I love it. I love it when Keiji gets ganged up on. Okay. We're done here. Now that was fun. I don't know what we're opening in on, so I'm gonna stop it today. Because I don't know when the chapter ends. Alright, we're done. Alright, bye.